Zodiac 85X presents Team
No, eh? We should never try to make anyone feel guilty. Everyone's perfect just the way they are. If they want to pay for murder, that's up to them. We should never try to change anyone or the world at all. And we should give everyone a trophy every day and 2 ribbons.
It's funny how she's exaggerating, trying to pretend to be like us, with the whole ignorance is bliss kind of attitude. But how far from it she is actually hilarious. Because all we want is freedom, okay? We want to eat what we choose and what we feel is healthiest. It doesn't matter what they think is healthiest. They're not a doctor. But you'll get a lot of vegans saying, I'm a vegan doctor. I'm this, I'm that. And they'll do anything to try to sway your thinking. See, unlike vegan activists, we don't let conspiracy groups tell us how to act and how to think. Because we think for ourselves. That's the difference. Now, I don't hate vegans or vegetarians because I get along well with most of them. The problem is, I don't agree with forceful tactics, conspiracy groups, or misinformation.
There's lots of misinformation about animal experimentation, so I'm here to give you 5 hard-to-swallow animal testing statistics.
Okay, before she continues, I would just like to say that this is testing we're talking about. Testing is never friendly, nor is it ever safe. But without testing, we would have never made it this far in life, and we would have never been able to create as many wonderful medicines as we have today. We've been able to help people and treat their conditions because of medicines, thanks to testing.
95% of all new drugs that are shown to be safe and effective in tests on animals fail in human trials. This stat comes straight from the NIH, the government agency that funnels billions of taxpayer dollars into ineffective animal experiments.
Okay, but what about all the effective medicines? How come you're only talking about the ineffective medicines? There are loads of effective medicines out there. There are medicines that have helped people, numerous medicines, and yet they have been tested on animals and they have succeeded. Just because you only want to show the negative side of things doesn't mean there's not a positive side out there.
99% of the animals used in laboratories aren't defined to be animals, so they aren't covered by federal animal protection laws, as though the government decided, I'm sorry, but you're just not animal enough to tens of millions of animals.
Okay, you know it's an animal, and I know it's an animal, but the problem is a lab rat is still a lab rat, and nothing's going to change that. Or would you rather be the one tested on? You know, because if you're going to say that people should be the ones tested on and not non-human animals, then really we're going to die out quickly because we only make up 0.01 the population, and then humanity would quickly drop. That's why we use animals for testing and not people. We are more sentient than them. And not just that, there's less of us than there are of non-human animals, so we would get wiped out really quickly. People just aren't willing to risk mankind for the sake of science. Or do you want to be the one to give a loved one who is deathly ill medicine that has never been tested? Would you? Would you really want to give someone medicine that has not been tested? Let's just say someone you love is on their deathbed and they needed a certain kind of medicine. Do you want to give them non-tested medicine?
Between 2010 and 2014, 500,000 animals who were covered under the Animal Welfare Act were subjected to painful experiments without pain relief.
I mean, it all depends on the scenario. Let's just say an animal needs to be tested on his pain tolerance because they need to test a new painkiller. Now, would you really want to take a painkiller that doesn't work or one that does? Some animals may need to be tested on this kind of thing to see how well the painkiller is actually going to work. I know it seems harsh, but look, we don't want to take a product if it's going to harm us or not work for us. Now, on a different scenario, it might just be bad scientists that aren't doing their jobs correctly, and those guys normally get fired.
More than 99.6% of experimental drugs for Alzheimer's disease failed in human clinical trials after testing successfully on animals.
It all comes down to trial and error. Yes, we will have many failed medicines out there, but we still have plenty that do succeed, which is why we are able to help so many people in the world, because there are a lot of functional medicines, and they do work. But much like a business, most people are going to fail at running a business in life, but then you will still have plenty that will succeed at running a business. It's all trial and error.
At least 85 HIV/AIDS vaccines have appeared successful in studies on monkeys. 100% of them have failed to protect humans.
That doesn't mean that we're just going to give up and throw in the towel. Just because we fail at something doesn't mean we'll never succeed at it. We can't just give up and stop trying, because then what's the point of ever moving forward in life? Just because something doesn't work now doesn't mean we'll never find the cure later in the future. There have been many illnesses that have been preventable with medicines that we never thought we could prevent. But look at us. Look how far we've advanced. We can't just give up. We have to try. If testing was the only way to save humanity, then would you just let humanity die out? I'm sure that one day we'll find better ways of testing, but there is no such as risk-free when it comes to testing. Testing has always been risky.
My student asked me, Miss Katie, what do I do if somebody gives me a box of chocolates at my birthday and they have milk in them and I really don't want to hurt their feelings? What do I do?
Really, it all depends. I mean, if they didn't know you were vegan, I probably would just, let them know that you're vegan, and that you can't eat milk products. I'm sure they'll understand. But if it's someone that doesn't understand, and you know that they're going to get offended or upset, just hold on to it and get rid of it later or give it to someone else. Easy as that.
Well, think of it this way. If you knew that that person gave you milk chocolates and the milk came from a cat, from their own cat who had kittens, and they pinned down the mother cat and they took the baby's milk away and put it in the chocolates, would you take it?
Lady, it's not the same thing. Cow's milk is cow's milk, cat's milk is cat's milk. You can't compare those things, because even if you were vegetarian, would you drink cat's milk? I mean, listen to yourself. That's like saying, would you drink rat's milk? Even that sounds gross. There's a reason why you don't see cat's milk in stores, but yet you see cow's milk. Goat's milk, that's a different story, okay? Goat's cheese. People take animals that produce the best milk. There's a reason why you're not going to get dog's milk and cat's milk to drink, because it's just unappetizing for people. It's definitely immoral, because it's not the right type of animal. The right type of animal, people actually research this stuff. What's healthier? Cow's milk, it's naturally healthy. That's why we drink cow's milk. Also, why do you do that? Why do you like to shift the topic so much? You'll sit there and point at an entirely different species when that's not the question. When someone asks a question or they ask for help, why do you bring up another species when it's just going to make someone mad rather than be helpful? Because that's not helpful. That's like if someone asked you, why aren't you eating poison ivy? You eat broccoli. Well, obviously you know the answer to that. Poison ivy isn't good to eat, and you shouldn't get near that stuff. But yet, there's going to be people that's going to be like, well, why don't you eat something else? Something that's not nutritious, or something that's not very good for you. And yet they're plants, but you get what's going on here? That's like us comparing those things. They can throw the same Uno reverse card at you, is what I'm saying. I mean, you should never eat poisonous things anyways, but still, I'm just saying.
Of course not, because that is violating that cat. Same as if it was a dog.
No, Karen, you're completely wrong about that. The thing is, we don't consume milk from cats or dogs, period. That's not the same kind of milk as cow's milk, as I've already said before.
So, you always have to remember to be tough. That's why you need to be brave to be a vegan. And you need to be willing to say no to things. So if somebody tries to give you any kind of a gift that has something in it that you don't want, you need to call them out on it and say, I never wanted that. That is not nice of you to even give me that. I am not taking it.
No. That's just the fast way to lose friends and family, let me tell you. If you sit there being aggressive like that, calling people out, no one's going to want to talk to you. You're going to lose all respect from your own family as well. No one's going to want to be a part of your life. If someone didn't know and they gave you something, and you sat there calling them out, you would be considered the rudest person ever. You're really leading people in the wrong direction. There is a such thing as politeness. You have to be polite for people to respect you. Because if you're not polite, you're not going to get anyone's respect. One last thing. I want you to think about this. The people that you bash on or that you are aggressive towards could be the same people that could one day save your life. Let's just say you're around the only one that could save you from a natural disaster. And it so happens to be the person you were bashing on or hating on for eating animals. Think about it. That person could very well be the one that's going to save your life. And what are you going to tell them when they save you? Stop eating animals? You think you're really going to be in a situation to tell them that? I'm just saying. Treat others with respect. Because you never know if you might actually need that person one day. You could be in any natural disaster, from a hurricane to a tornado to an earthquake. And that could very well be the only person around. The very person that you bullied. And they could be the only one around for miles. You might actually need that person one day. Just think about it.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.